Well, hello, boys and girls. It's Brian, and it's back again at BG Model Workshop. And what do we got here? Well, we got the Crew Chief. That is part of the Universal Construction Vehicle series, of course. And we're plowing through this kit as fast as can be. I'm actually absolutely loving this kit because it is such a joy to build. And I just can't wait to see more of these on my bench. I actually want to go out and buy more and more of these because they're just so fun to build. So I don't understand why folks are having a hard time with it. But yeah, I'm not having any issues at all, and it's just a full-on joy. So is BG sending notes? I can't see what he's doing over there. Okay, so let's get on to the gritty-nitty of the thing. Our chassis is looking really, really good. We're ready for paint. This glues up from several pieces, and the instructions are actually pretty decent when it comes to this part of the vehicle. I didn't have any issues at all, and I'm not kidding, that's true. This went together really well, as did the engine and transfer case. That went together very nicely also. I think all of the issues come to where the camper shell, was it the camper shell? It's not really a camper shell, but the shell, the roof piece, and how the interior tub fits to the body. I think those are where our major issues are. So let's just fit this together here like this. So it's the actual truck body is kind of floppy because they molded it with having the open tailgate, which is fine. That's great. And then, but that does make things a little more challenging when you have something that's very thinly molded, kind of on the floppy side. It is susceptible to having pieces bent or bowed in the box. It's actually dished here in the top, which is causing the sides to splay out a little bit and not seal very well around our rear window gate. But Mr. Fred Henry, he had done a stunning job with his. It was absolutely beautiful, and kudos to you, my friend, because after working on this now, I know that was definitely pushing a rock uphill because of the challenges of the body in itself. And then he went along and modified a chassis for another vehicle that wasn't even part of this kit. So yeah, you're a strong man, I swear. But this lid here, he made his lid removable. I'm going to keep mine. I'm going to mount it permanently because of the issues that we're having with the warpage and such. So, and I'm fine with that. I don't mind. I don't need to have one with removable top. Should I do one in the future and I get a kit that doesn't have such a badly warped top, then I'll consider possibly putting that on there and making it removable. But in the meantime, this guy here is doing pretty well. We do have a little bit of an issue around the front where the hood and the fenders come together. I might have to add a little bit of some styrene slivers to help fill in a little bit of the gaps there, because the hood does seem to be molded just a little bit narrower than the actual body pieces are. So we're going to do our best to make sure that all those body seams are taken care of. And speaking of getting taken care of, I chose to go with the deep dish aluminum chrome wheels. And I was showing this stuff off to my friend Dan Doan at one of our build sessions. And Dan, who is Styrene Whisperer, he knows everything there is to know about model kits. He happened to point out, he says, have you taken a close look at these? And I'm like, well, they look fine. He goes, have you counted the lug nuts in there? So I checked out the rear wheel. It's like, okay, it's got the standard 5. He goes, okay, now check out the front one. So I checked the front one. It's got 6 in there. I'm like, oh man, how do you fix that? And he's like, well, actually, I got an idea. I actually have some wheel covers, some hubcaps that are, of course, Chevy, and they look great. So he gave us this set here so that we could use them. And what he suggested is that we drill out the centers of the hubcaps. I know that's a little ragged looking still because we're still working on it, but center those right over the actual hub sticking through, and there we go. Lug nut problem solved. So I can't wait to get that all sorted out because this is going to look really cool. In the rear, Here's one of our rear ones. Wait, is that a rear one? No, it's not. It's the front one. But oh, here we go. Here's a rear one. So the actual hubcap is just slightly larger than the rim area that that's supposed to mount to. But I think we're going to be able to get away with it. All right. So with that nice little bench update out of the way, we want to move on to another topic, and that topic is about the ACME show. I was watching Mr. Mac's video here earlier, and Mr. Mac was talking about how he's traveling to the show and what he uses to carry his cars in, and it's a very fine system, and I appreciate that. We're going to be flying, as he had said, that Mrs. BG and I will be flying, and we're both going to be taking model car kits with us, and not just us, but our good friend John Sweber. He's a good friend of the family. He's going to be coming down to ACME also, and he's an excellent builder. I actually turned to him for a lot of helps on building and painting and stuff like that, and I think he's just flat out entertained by the fact that I'm always asking him for tips and help and stuff. But he's coming along with us, and he's going to be joining into the show as well, and he's pretty excited. And it turns out we're all going to be on the same flight together, so it's going to be all three of us sitting there with model car kits on our lap, telling the stewardesses to bugger off because we're not going to put them up in the overhead compartments. But yeah, we had heard that there's a particular member of our community that is working on a car. It's his first car build in quite some time, if ever, and is a little bit hesitant to bring it down because he doesn't think it's going to rate well. Well, I say to that, nuts. You need to bring that down there, as does anyone else who's coming along to ACME. If you're a car builder and you're a model building fan and you want to come down to ACME, bring something to put on the table. We want to see what you've been working on up close and in person. Well, the payoff of seeing something that's been made on YouTube that we've been watching for a couple of weeks or months or whatever, we want to see that payoff. We want to see that thing in person. We want to look at that and go, yeah, man, I remember when you did this, and have a conversation about that. And I'm like, yeah, man, I remember when you couldn't figure out what those metal rods were for, but you got that sorted out. So yeah, bring it. Mr. BAS Dry Dock, we're looking at you. We know that you're working on that really awesome Camaro for your really awesome wife, Mrs. Candy. And I've actually kind of jokingly dubbed the car build the Candy Machine because it's for Mrs. Candy and it's a wonderful machine. But Mrs. BG will come home from work. She goes, hey, what'd you do all day? I say, I was on the phone with Brian for 2.5 hours. Doing what? Talking about the Candy Machine. Oh, okay. What's the Candy Machine? so yeah, we kind of call it the Candy Machine around here at the house. So yeah, B, bring it. If you're coming, bring it. Bring it with you. There's many different ways to transport stuff. I have a really cool case. It's an Apache case. I got them at Harbor Freight. As a matter of fact, I should probably do a video on that case. I don't think I have done so in the past. But we traveled all the way up to California with model car kits in these cases. We drove. Anybody who's driven through California nowadays knows that it's just a bunch of potholes holding hands. And when we got to the show, we were able to open up the cases, take the cars out, put them on the table, no damage at all. And that's got to be worse for a model kit doing that type of thing than being an overhead compartment in flight. So yeah, we're hoping to see not just you, but what you're working on, and that goes for everybody. I really hope that every single person that's part of the YouTube community that shows up to the show brings at least one thing to put on the table so that we can all talk about it, gab about it, gas on about it, brag about it, whatever. I just can't wait to do this. All right, guys and gals, y'all have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you a little bit later on. Bye.